This interview is brought to you by the University of Minnesota Alumni Association and the Maroon and Gold Network.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm joined by Robin Caufman, and Robin Caufman is a senior community planner at Bolton and Mink, where she works with cities and counties and state agencies on a variety of projects. Robin has a Master's of Urban and Regional Planning degree from the Humphrey School of Public Affairs and a BS in Environmental Studies from the College of Natural Resources. She continues to invest her time with the University of Minnesota as the president of the Humphrey School Alumni Board and as the Humphrey School representative to the UMAA Collegiate Council. Thank you for joining me today, Robin.
Thanks for having me, Neil. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and dive right into the questions. So first, we'll start with just tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience at the University of Minnesota.
Absolutely. A lot of times I like to say that I am a three-time graduate of the University of Minnesota. And that's because my mom went back to school when my brother and I were very young. And if daycare fell through, she would take us to school. So I remember sitting in some of her lecture hall classes as a little kid. And that was really influential in one of my decisions to go to the University of Minnesota. So I did not receive my degree at that point, though. I ended up going back and getting my bachelor's from the College of Natural Resources, then College of Natural Resources on St. Paul campus, and then worked for a little while and ended up coming back to school at the Humphrey School and got my Master's of Urban and Regional Planning over on the West Bank. So it's just a really good experience, and just really enjoyed my time there and the connections I made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like you spent a lot of time on campus.
Definitely did.
Okay. So kind of in that same realm, how did you get started volunteering, and why do you choose to volunteer with the University of Minnesota?
I grew up in a family where volunteering is just a part of life. And so I started volunteering at the Humphrey School. Mm-hmm. After I graduated. When I did go back to school, I started part-time. And so I was working full-time, going to school part-time. And I didn't really get involved a lot at that point. And I did eventually stop working for a little while and went to school full-time, and just realized that there was a lot that I could have been taking advantage of. And so now I volunteer partly to make up for a lot of the activities that I didn't do when I was in school. And so when I mentor students, I always say, take advantage of all those opportunities. There's so much going on, and there are just a lot of opportunities to connect with people, to learn things outside of the classroom. And so that's one of the reasons I volunteer. The other reason I volunteer is that I received a scholarship as an undergraduate. It was a scholarship for women in the sciences. And so I just think that's really invaluable to give back. That was really important to me and helped me a lot in my undergraduate years and my studies. And so I just think that's really important to give back and give to those future generations. So those are two of the reasons that I volunteer.
That's awesome. And I'm sure there's a ton of people who are happy you're here and volunteering. All right. So in that realm of volunteering, what's your most memorable experience while volunteering with the University of Minnesota?
It's so hard to pick one.
Yeah.
It is. It's like, how do you pick just one? I think maybe two things. Like, okay. I think a lot of times people think that, I graduated, I got my degree, I'm done learning now, right? And I don't think we're ever really done learning. And so, one of the reasons, again, I go back and continue to volunteer is because there's so many opportunities to learn. And one of the things I did with my mentor, the Humphrey School provided a networking session. So basically learning how to network. And that's always scary for folks, right? Like no one's comfortable. Everyone thinks like, oh, everyone's got this, but me. And so I did it with my mentor, my mentee, and I just feel like I learned so much out of that experience because like it's just awkward, like going up to people that you've never met, work in a room. And so that was just a really good experience. It was fun. They made it fun, so it wasn't scary, and it just gave me a lot of skills too. Taught me how to navigate that. Another thing that is one of my favorite things. It's not necessarily a memory, but one of the things that I am super excited about is that some of my earlier mentees, from from when I first started mentoring, I now see them on a regular basis. Like they're in the profession, and some of them have advanced to, directors and senior level managers. And sometimes I like to take credit for them, but I know they did most of the work. But it's just really exciting to see someone that you may have influenced succeeding in their career, and now seeing them on a professional basis and knowing that they're a colleague. So that's one of my favorite things to see.
That is so cool and just awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And then to wrap it all up, why would you encourage someone else to volunteer like some of your mentees?
I encourage people to volunteer, partly to give back, as I've mentioned, but I think I feel like I get so much more out of it than I give, and I think that's really one of my big motivators. I feel like by mentoring and by continuing to volunteer at the University of Minnesota, I'm continuing to learn. I'm learning, what current students are learning as well, because they share a little bit about themselves and their projects. So I'm learning new practices and new best, new approaches. So, and then it's also a good networking experience, or it's a good networking effort. Today's students are going to be, your future colleagues and coworkers. And so what a great opportunity to just get to know them and continue, start working with them early. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you for joining me today, and thank you for all you do for the University of Minnesota, even after graduating.
Yes, very excited and happy to be a part of the university still. You don't need to graduate and walk away.
Exactly, yeah. All right. Thank you again for joining me, Robin.
Thank you, Neil.